works out. But the only 5 ways that, how many of you guys want to drive profits? Want more profit? Excellent. So there's only 5 ways to do it. Number 1, you can increase the leads you're getting today. Number 2, you can increase the conversion rate of leads into sales. Number 3, you can increase your average dollar sale. So how much somebody spends with you when they spend it with you. 4th one is how often do they spend with you per year? How many transactions do you get? For some people, it might, especially in your industry, if the homeowner is ultimately the end client, it might be once every 3, 4, 5 years. So the numbers of transactions might be 0.2 per year on average. Okay? If the real estate agent is the end client who's referring you in and doing all that, it might be multiple transactions per month or per quarter. So numbers of transactions. And the 5th one is profit margin, increasing your profit margin. And I'm going to show you the power of that in a little bit. This is me and my family. I'm from Wisconsin, so I am a Badger. So last week Sunday was a good day for me here in Buckeye Country. And we're Packer shareholders. I've been on the waiting list since I was born to get season tickets, and I just found out a month ago that I finally get them for this coming fall. So 45 years away. Yeah, so a lot more trips to Wisconsin now. And these are my kids and my wife Annette. She's one of the partners in our business. And Lauren here, she's the reason I'm doing this. When I was in my old corporate life, I was sitting in Puerto Rico, and Annette called me up. I used to go there for 2 out of every 3 weeks for a company we purchased, and we were integrating in our business, and I spent about 8 months going there. And I'd come home and work for 1 week, about 70 hours trying to catch up in the office. And Annette called me up on the 2nd day of one of my 2-week trips, and Lauren took her first steps, and I wasn't home to see it. And that was the beginning of the end of the corporate journey, and I finally said, the heck with that, I got to do something I believe in, something I'm passionate about, something that gives me control over my calendar, etc. And that's what ultimately led me here. So, but back to what we do with clients, it's time and money, right, to achieve our goals in life. And I'm going to show you the money today. There's a 3rd key area, it's people. Because if you're going to ever increase your profitability, eventually you have to have more people than just you. Because there's only so much time in the day. So we're going to do a free giveaway. I'm going to actually pass these out too. There's a card with what we do. Step 2 is I'm going to be covering some of the stuff we do on step 2 with our clients. But I'm going to do a free giveaway because not everybody's here because money is your #1 issue. Okay, it's certainly an issue for everybody. But if people is your #1 challenge, getting the right people on the team, hiring the right people, trying to leverage beyond yourself people-wise, we've got a free book called Instant Team Building, which covers 6 steps to building a winning team, how to hire really passionate, cool people that are after your vision and are going to help you get there. So it's really practical stuff you can literally implement tomorrow. So if you'd like a free book, just get out your business card and write on the back of your business card, money, time, or people, and then we'll just do a drawing and pass one out. So this is the one for people. Instant Systems covers the 9 steps with systemizing anything in your business. So in your business, if you want to be most efficient, it's really good to have systems in place. And systems can be free, they can be as simple as a flow chart, or they can be high-powered in software and CRM systems and all that kind of stuff. But the key is to systemize a business so that systems run the routine, and then you can humanize the exceptions, which is dealing with people and handling their objections and their fears and all that kind of stuff. When you have great systems, then you can hire people to actually run some of those systems for you and start leveraging. So that's if time is your biggest issue, if you're just working way too many hours, if that's your #1 challenge, Instant Systems would be the book you want. And then we've got another book called Instant Cash Flow, which is going to cover all the stuff I'm going to show you today. Okay? So The only 5 ways to grow your profits. So here's a formula. This is really powerful stuff. To get more customers, everybody wants more customers, right? To get more customers, the only way to get it is to drive more leads or a higher conversion rate of those leads. So from customers then, we can get to revenues by increasing the number of transactions per customer and increasing the average dollar sale per transaction. That gives us our total revenues. And I'm going to put some real numbers in here so you can get a feel for just how powerful this is. And then take your revenues multiplied by your profit margin gives you your profits, okay? And it's always about profits. There's so many people discount their way trying to get more revenue because we see large corporations doing that. But in small to mid-sized business, it's all about profit at the end of the day. So I'd rather give up revenue any day, if it's unprofitable revenue, to have more profits coming in. Plus I get to spend less time having to deal with all the unprofitable revenue. So really think hard about who you do business with and make sure whoever you're doing business with is profitable business for you. Okay? Make sense? So we'll go to the next slide and we'll get into the how we actually do this with numbers. So if you want to get to there we go. So the first 2 areas, numbers of leads, 78 different strategies. When we're working with our clients, there's 78 different strategies to generate more leads in a business. And we work with businesses in pretty much any industry. We even work with nonprofits as well. But 78 different strategies. So just by a show of hands, how many people in here are utilizing more than 3 strategies to generate leads in your business right now? 1, 2, 3? Okay, about 5 or 6. How many are over 5 different strategies to generate more leads? So the key is, ask yourself, a great question to ask yourself is, what are 10 different strategies I could use to generate more leads in my business? And just start brainstorming. Get your team to brainstorm. Maybe come to one of our other workshops where we dive into all those strategies. Or if you win the book, you can dive into that. And then same thing with conversion rate. Okay? So here's the actual, just an example of a real small business. But each one of them going through, how many people have specific strategies to generate a higher conversion rate? Excellent. There's a handful of you guys. That means a lot of you don't, right? Okay, conversion rate is huge because the lead generation side of the business, that's marketing. That takes a lot of time, a lot of energy to generate leads, and a lot of money if it's marketing, because you get into things like advertising and subscriptions and networking and things like that. It takes a lot of time, could take a lot of money depending on the marketing strategies you're using. So conversion rate, having some specific strategies that drive your conversion rate higher is tremendous, because you're not burning those leads that you're otherwise getting. So it's very important. So how many people have a specific sales system where you know step by step by step the system from the time you generate a lead till the time you close that lead? Excellent. There's a couple of you guys. Fantastic. For those of you that don't, start breaking down your system. And then you can measure the conversion rate from step to step to step, and then dive in where it's broken. Okay? So some other examples of conversion rate strategies would be having a guarantee. Okay? Having a strong USP, a unique selling proposition. Why are you so different that your target market ought to buy from you instead of considering anybody else? And part of that comes back to knowing your niche. Who exactly is your target market? And you guys are all in the staging professionals industry, so in general, your target market is going to be people staging their homes, right? But what's your specific niche? Some people want to be the low-cost provider. Some people want to be the high-margin provider. You look at retailing as an example. Walmart makes a ton of money being the low-cost provider. Macy's makes a lot of money having high profit margins and lower volumes. So who's your target market? That's where it always starts with. And being in your own business, one thing I'd suggest is pick a target market you're really passionate about, you enjoy working with. Because that always makes it more fun to do business. So that's some examples of conversion rate. Numbers of transactions, how can you get people to buy more often from you? Okay, same thing, 68 strategies in there. So when we're working with clients, we're gonna dive into all those. Obviously in a 30-minute presentation, I don't have the time to do that. But in the instant cash flow book, it's gonna dive into a lot of these. So you get specific material on that if you want to. Or we can do a future workshop, or if you guys want to be invited to a future workshop on anything like that, let me know. In fact, on the back of your card, on your time, money, or people, just put a yes or no if you want to be invited to a future workshop, free or whatever. We offer a lot of free workshops where we dive into details on this kind of stuff. Average dollar sale per transaction, how can you get the average dollar sale up so what you're charging is more than what it was last quarter, last year, etc. Okay, so having a uniqueness, having a niche, having a strong guarantee takes all the risk away from the client that's buying from you, and you can start to increase your average dollar sale. Changing your target market potentially is an option. Just raising prices automatically increases your average dollar sale. The cool part about increasing prices, it also increases your net profit margin, so you get a double whammy. And I'm going to show you the power of this math here in a second. So now, small increases, massive results. So if you were systematically, we were systematically working on 78 different strategies, prioritizing which ones would be the most effective in your business to increase leads. Just real quick, what percent increase do you think we might be able to get in leads? Just start throwing out some numbers.
50%.
50%? Yep. Same thing with conversion rate. What kind of increases in conversion rate do you think we might get if we were, now a 50% increase on conversion rate would only mean 12.5% more. So 25 goes to 37.5, okay? Is it fair to say we could probably get at least a 10% increase? Yeah, so 25 goes to 27.5. Numbers of transactions. In this example, it's 2 transactions per year. I didn't know with your industry exactly what's typical or average, so this is just a typical example. But whatever it is, whether it's 2 or 1 or a half a transaction per year on average, when we start diving into 68 different strategies to increase numbers of transactions and systematically applying those and testing them, is it fair to say we can get at least a 10 or 20% increase? So 2 would go to 2.2 or 2.4, etc. on the average dollar sale, getting the 500 up and the the net profit margins up. So if you want to cycle through that, Colleen. So that's where the numbers go with just a 10% increase, okay? So what does this do to the bottom line? This little bitty business doing only 50 grand a year in profit now is generating 80 grand a year. It's a 61% increase in profits. That's the power of this, okay? If we can generate on average about a 15% increase, so just a little bit more than this, we get a double. If we can double each one of these, so we double our numbers of leads, double our conversion rate, etc., all of a sudden this $50,000 business turns into a $1.6 million a year profit business. And is that possible?
Yes.
Absolutely. That's how somebody can start a computer company in their garage and years later it's Hewlett-Packard, right? So that's how big companies become big companies, because they all started as a small company once. So the key is to systematically go after this. Two clear keys on this. Number one, you got to have a clear goal. Where do you want to get to and by when? So it starts with your dreams. What do I really want in life? What's my purpose? What's my legacy going to be? Etc. And then breaking that down into What's my 5-year goal? What's my 3-year goal? What's my 1-year goal? What's my 90-day goal? The second key one is to test and measure. First thing to do is test what your actual numbers are. How many people know all 5 of those numbers in your business? One person. Fantastic. Excellent. That's very rare. But the first key, you got to know what those numbers are, because then you can start to improve them. So when you implement a strategy, on the test and measure part is don't bank the farm on it. There's a lot of marketing companies and advertising companies that want you to spend a lot of money on advertising or marketing and do this 10,000 piece flyer or whatever it happens to be. And if you do that and it doesn't work, is it going to be something that bankrupts a company in the short term? So that's why a lot of people don't do that stuff, is because they don't really know their numbers. But if you knew that for every dollar that you put into marketing based on a specific strategy, because now it's tested, if you knew that that dollar actually produced $2 in profit, not revenue, but profit, how often are you going to spend that dollar? As often as you can cash flow it. Exactly. So the key is knowing the numbers, because knowing them to the penny or to the decimal point, what that does is it gives you confidence to make good decisions. If you don't know the numbers and it's all gut feel, and then